All right, welcome back. This is still the Polity reaching you live from Abuja. I've been joined now in the studio by Mr. Atiku Abubakar. He's a policy analyst and a chieftain. He's here to do some justice to the issues of the state of the nation, the polity, including the first week or so of the new president, the appointments, and also the very brazen announcement he made on the day of inauguration considering for subsidy removal. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
It's good to have you.
Thank
All right,
you.
let's just start from the protest that was called off by the NLC. What do you make of that development and the negotiations that are still ongoing?
Yes, it was a good development because there is actually no need for protest because it's just that the president, because of reasons best known to him, was in a hurry to make that pronouncement of the removal of fuel subsidy. During the campaigns, all the three major presidential candidates did say they were going to remove the subsidy. And if you look at the fraud that over the years have been perpetrated in the industry, removing the subsidy is the best decision. But there should have been palliatives to be in place before removing the subsidy. That's the area where most people disagree with the president. But in all, I want to commend him for taking charge. That is what the country needs. So it's a step in good direction, and hopefully, by the grace of God, we are going to succeed in this country.
All right, that's fair enough. But what do you make of, criticism that the NLC is getting that it supported a candidate who was also going to remove subsidy? So why are they making the fuss at this moment?
That's why we say it's a good thing that they are no longer going on strike, since they actually supported a candidate that also campaigned and did promise that he was going to remove the subsidy. So they have done the right thing by not going on strike. So there's no need to castigate them. They are on track. Let them continue to negotiate with the federal government for better standard of living for the ordinary Nigerians.
So what are those palliatives you think could help the situation?
Before I mention the palliatives, I want to advise the president not to toe the line of the former president, where opportunities were given to people to perpetrate fraud in the name of social investment programs. I know it's a continuation of policies of one party, it's of same party, but those fraud needs to be investigated. You do not in any. We are not talking about palliatives where you send 10,000 naira or 20,000 naira to people's account. That is not palliatives, and it is ridiculous and very shameful for people to sit together and agree to send 10,000 or 5,000 to people. I don't know the kind of brain they use in thinking. What the president should do is increasing salaries of civil servants is the least of it, but that should be done also. But the most important thing is that the monies that will be saved from this should be used to maybe do something very important that majority of Nigerians will benefit, not by giving people money. If I can, my advice is that the federal government should consider pumping in a lot of money into the education sector, and thereby ensuring that monies that are paid as tuition fee is drastically reduced. By so doing, a lot of parents will get relief. So these are the kind of palliatives we are talking about. You increase salaries of workers, do a lot in education sector, in health sector. These are areas where a lot of Nigerians will benefit. These two areas are very critical, so that people, and also in the transportation, there can be an arrangement, or big buses in major cities where the fare will be reduced. For example, in Abuja, for those who leave Zuba or Maraba, if these buses are made available, they can be paying from Maraba to, say, Area 1, 200 naira. That is, and you make the buses, let the buses be enough. In different routes, I'm just citing an example. If the government go into this, it will help a lot, and ensuring that people do not feel the pains as much as they do now. These are the areas the government needs to really look at.
All right, that's fair enough. The former Minister for Finance and Budget and National Planning, Haja Zainab Ahmed, said that Nigeria started or had been borrowing to pay subsidy. As on one hand, the NNPCL Group Managing Director, Mele Kyari, said that the government wasn't even making the payments anymore, so to speak. So the NNPC was covering up for that. There's this analogy where people say removing fuel subsidy is like a man who is digging a hole. And what happens is when you stop fuel subsidy, all that happens is that the man stops digging, but he's still in a hole. So when you say let's take the money elsewhere, the government is saying there is still no money. What do you think could be the benefits of this in the long run, given that we had some other products that were subsidized and the subsidy was removed, but we didn't feel the effect of the money that was saved? Diesel, what's it called? Kerosene, and one other. So all of these, is there any strong confidence or hope that the government will make the most of this removal?
It is whatever happens depend on what the president and those in the helm of affairs want to achieve. If the subsidy is removed, and of course a lot of money will be saved, that I am very sure. Say for example 100 billion is saved, and one person decides to take the 100 billion or 50 billion, of course there will not be money. What you are saying is that as long as there's no corruption, let the president try as much as possible to reduce corruption to the barest minimum. And why I always refer to the president is this, because I have had the opportunity of working with state executives, and one thing I know that is very key is that if a governor decides to steal from the coffers of government, he has opened ways for commissioners and other members of the state executives to be able to steal. If he steals 1 billion naira, others will be able to steal up to 2 billion naira. So when the chief executive is sincere, then by the sincerity of just the leader, 70% of the fraudulent act will be stopped. So everything is on the president. So a lot of money can be saved if he is sincere. But if they notice that there are some shady deals that he is engaged in, they will also be engaged in all of this. They already know that he does not have the moral right to say anything regarding any fraud that they will also continue to perpetrate. So everything is on the table. And my sincere advice to the president is that at this stage of his life, he does not need to accumulate wealth again, because whether or not he accumulates, he will leave them in the shortest period in the future. How long does he have to live on earth? So he doesn't need this. Let him use this opportunity to do the best and ensure that people live a decent life. Because what is baffling me is that these people, these leaders, what are the major problem of this country? They take things that they will never need. I can't imagine a man of 60 years looting from government, being fraudulent. How long do you have to live on earth? So the challenge we are facing is because of these leaders. A lot of money will be saved. What they do with the money that will be saved is what we should be talking about. But for sure, a lot of money will be saved. So the president needs to be very sincere and know that a lot of Nigerians are suffering. And the report of NBS, National Bureau of NBS, that over 133 million Nigerians are faced with multi-dimensional poverty. That should be, you should take that very serious. Nigerians are thinking about what to eat, where to sleep. Of course, for a very long time, they have not been able to access health care. So these things should matter to the president, and everything, we hope and pray that he does the right thing.
Right, that's fair enough. I wonder, is it too soon to take a look at the amount of time spent in the office by the president, and if any projections can be made, especially in terms of appointments? But before that, let's quickly, one more question on the subsidy issue. And now that subsidy has been removed, what do you foresee happening with the market? And also, do you buy the explanation that is being given? We know that in the budget, subsidy was meant to last up until June 30. And, the budget is law. It means the money exists somewhere. I don't know.
It has been paid.
Yes. So, but any businesses, they never got the money. But anyway, they've not been getting for a long time. So but the point is, this hurried nature of things, where June 30 suddenly became May 31st, and nobody is really asking questions about what happened to the budgeted money and all that. Do you think there might be some foul play here, or did the announcement just make things, quicker?
Of course, there's a foul play. And the problem we have in this country is that it is a special case whereby those who are saddled with the responsibility of investigating, in most of the time, they connive with the perpetrators of this crime. So at the end of the day, nothing comes out. Of course, the money has been paid. So we should be buying fuel up till the end of June at an amount that we are not exceeding, not up to 200 naira till June. But why are we buying over 500 naira? That is the fraud we are talking about. And that's why a leader, to be successful in Nigeria, needs to stamp his authority. Needs to be the leader needs to use the long hammer of hammering people. Those that need to be investigated, arrested, should be. But if the leader will just sit down, all of these things, the problem will persist. Money has been paid. No doubt about that. Forget what MLA is saying. That NNPC or whatever it is called now, it's more or less a place where people go to perpetrate crime, in my own opinion, because to the best of my knowledge, I cannot say in the last 20 years there's any decent man that has occupied that office. There are people who do not mean well for this country. All they are interested is the amount of money they can gather for themselves, forgetting that they are going to leave the same money in this world. That's why we laugh at them, because it's childish for them to continue to make the majority to suffer, while the few, they accumulate what they will never need. So that is the problem. The good thing is that let this fuel subsidy, let it go, because it is an avenue where they have been stealing Nigeria dry. Let it go. I know we faced a lot of challenges, and that's why we are calling on the president, so that to ensure certain things are done to cushion the effect of all of these things, because there's going to be geometrical increase in the prices of goods. And if a lot needs to be done, it should have, in a way, because there should be a rail track connecting cities before even removing the subsidy. This thing can be done in a short period of time. It's just the political will. It's just that we do not have leaders who mean well for this country. But the president has taken the right direction. With the way he's going, within this few weeks, at least we know there is a man who is in charge of the country. And that's the good thing. And that's why we are happy.
Well, let's continue in that line now. The issue of his emergence and his first week thereabouts in office now. What do you make of the issue of appointments? Do you think it might be too, too quick to judge when you say, okay, he doesn't have some key appointments like his kitchen cabinet at least? For instance, during the negotiations we've been seeing with the NLC and so on, we see people like Dele Alike, or Alake, how it's pronounced. We've even seen Festus Keyamo, and so on and so forth, so to speak. But these persons, at the moment as we speak, have no official government positions. But they are sitting in high-level negotiations on behalf of the government. Do you think there's something off there about people representing the federal government even when they have no official affiliation with the government? And on the other side, the appointments we've heard about, just this morning, the SGF has been sworn in. But before that, we saw the announcement also of the Chief of Staff, the new Chief of Staff, Febi Bajabiamila. Now, what do you make of the issue that, as we speak at the moment, he is the Speaker, even though he has been said that he will resume, I think, June 19 or June 12 or so. He has also been present in these meetings. The other day, he received, some sort of, passing on from the former Chief of Staff to him. He has been spotted in the Aso Rock multiple times. Is there a legal issue or a problem here where the number one person in the second branch of the government, in the legislative arm, is also part of the executive? What do you make of these appointments?
If you talk about the legal aspect, there's nothing I can say, because I do not know. I do not have the knowledge to speak on legal issues, because I'm not a lawyer. But I don't think there's anything wrong in the Speaker having been appointed as the Chief of Staff. I don't think there's anything wrong, even though he has not assumed office. Of course, even as the Speaker, he is an authority that should be able to be part of the meeting with Labour, so that a lot of things can be resolved. But as for Festus Keyamo, I don't know whether it has not been announced officially. Maybe the government is considering giving him a role, and he's on probation to know whether or not he will be able to handle the job that will be given to him. Maybe that should be the reason why he is there. The President and Commander-in-Chief can invite anybody, including you and I, to be part of any negotiation. And that is because we have given him, he has the authority to do that. So I don't think there's anything wrong. The most important thing is that he's on track. For now, I see that the president is on track. And even persuading Labour not to go on strike shows that he means well for Nigeria, because going on strike, there's nothing that will be achieved from going on strike. Negotiation should continue, and on the part of his appointment, it shows that he knows what he is doing. If you look at these men, the honorable men that have been appointed, they have vast experience and will be able to do well in the various positions that they have been appointed to serve, like the SGF, the Chief of Staff, and others. These are men who have the experience.
All right, that's fair enough. We'll watch and wait and see what happens. I'd like your thoughts on some of the things that are being done by various governments to try and help their citizens cope with this subsidy removal. Kwara State has said it's now a 3-day work week. Same thing with Edo State. And Edo State has increased the minimum wage to 40,000 naira in the state. What effect do you think this will have on for Nigerians? Or in those states specifically?
For Kwara, well, the civil servants don't really have much to do, so 3 days is enough. Let the other days, the governor can also tell them, use the remaining 2 days for them to go to farm. Let him also assist them while they go to farm. Once whatever they get out of the farm, they take half, and then government takes half. I think it will be better. So those who are interested should always go to farm instead of them sitting at home doing nothing. Government can also provide vehicles for those workers who ordinarily should be at home for the remaining 2 days to go to farm. And in Edo State, I have problem with almost all the governors in this country. I do not see sincerity on the part of the governors. When they are elected and sworn into office, they begin to act as lords, as if others are meant to serve them, forgetting that they have been elected. You see, the arrogance this governor exudes sometimes makes me to feel as if something is wrong with almost all those who get to a position of authority in this country. They spend a lot, waste a lot of resources, and how much is 40,000? Can the governor of Edo State use 40,000 to fuel his car? Is it enough for him? It doesn't matter that nobody should think that, oh, he's the governor, so what? If he's the governor, so what? Let me tell you, as a politician I know, any idiot can be governor in this country. It doesn't take anything. Any idiot. I mind the word, any idiot. You have better chances of succeeding, of becoming governor, senator in this country, if you are more wayward and irresponsible. So it's nothing that somebody is governor. But what we are saying, if you are governor, consider the situation on ground. 40,000 is not more. It's too small, because you cannot take one. You can't use 40,000.
Some people are not even increasing it at all.
These are evil men. These are evil men. Don't talk about evil men. He has tried what? It's not enough. We want him to do more. The minimum wage should be, for now, because there's no money in the country, should be at least, say, 70 to 100,000 naira. That should be the minimum wage. Give people a living wage, something that can take them from 1 month to the next. They are not being considerate. They think about themselves alone. What to be able to pay this amount of money, there's nothing. What you should do, reduce the amount of money you waste. You are driving 12 cars. Who are you to drive 12 cars? That you are governor, so what? Reduce the 12 cars to 4, 5. They save money from that. You waste money. Most of them, see them in Transcorp. Why wasting? They are governors lodges in Abuja. Why you can go there? Why wasting money in Transcorp? Why you save all of this money? It will be enough. They waste money on things that are not necessary, and that's why they cannot pay the minimum wage, because they are not doing what is expected of them. When they become, they are behaving as if they are more than anybody. What is it that you are a governor? So what? They should stop wasting money and use the money judiciously, so that this money can be used to pay salaries and do other things. It's not that they are doing anything special. They are not doing anything special. What is it that you are a governor? So what? I have worked with about 10 governors. I know that there's nothing special about being governor. It's just the way people see them. People are not slaves to these governors. They waste money unnecessarily. If they travel, their allowances alone and the money they waste on doing things that are not important for themselves and for the state. These monies can be saved to pay salary. How do you pay somebody 40,000? What can 40,000 do for somebody in a month? When a bag of, you can't even, okay, you take your salary, you cannot go and buy a bag of rice. Foreign rice is more than 40,000 naira. So now your salary cannot buy a bag of rice. What kind of leaders do we have? They don't have conscience at all. It seems to me that a man without conscience is easier for that man to be governor of Nigeria. It pains me.
All right, what do you make of the argument that actually increasing minimum wage even leads to, no resultant effect, because there is also inflation catching up with that increase? So if you were earning, let's say 33k and it becomes 66,000 naira, what you can buy with the 66,000 is even less than what you could have bought with the 33,000 naira. So what do you make of that economic argument?
There's nothing economic argument. Okay, what if the money is not increased? So will the 30k buy what you are supposed to buy? Already prices of goods have skyrocketed. So if you don't increase it, how will people be able to cope? You need to increase it and then ensure that certain things are done. I don't know why the government is not always thinking. That's why when they are appointed to positions of authority, the next thing you see that they increase in weight, they look, they are good looking because they don't mean well for the country. If you mean well for your country, once you are, even if you become the president, you cannot be looking good, because if you are under pressure, it affects you. They are not under pressure because they don't care for anybody. They just care for themselves. They take whatever they want to take and they laugh in their offices. That's not why they are in power. That is the problem. The money needs to be increased, and then other things need to be done. If, for example, we just give an example that once you get buses and then at government regulated price, where some persons who do not have money can come out early and use the bus. So, and then certain things can be, just that things are difficult in this country, that even the ordinary citizen is a wicked person. If you, I'll just say, people let government buy rice, for example, to sell to the poor at subsidized rate, you will see somebody who has 2 bags of rice at home will come and buy all the rice. So we are wicked to ourselves. A lot needs to be done. That's why leadership is not all about constructing road. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. It's about changing the orientation of people, changing their understanding. So that's why, because leaders are not doing what is expected of them. They're not leading by example. If you put something along the road to benefit people, let's say phone booths, so that people can make calls for free, in the night somebody will vandalize and take it. Not long ago, people vandalized the rail track. I couldn't imagine how a normal human being will vandalize the track. For what? You won't tell me it's poverty. Poverty can never make somebody to steal. Poverty can never make you to go and vandalize rail track to go and sell. That's not poverty. It is madness. And because people who commit crime in this country will always go free, especially when they have somebody at the top. That is the problem we are facing in this country. Something very serious needs to be done so that to cushion the effect. That's why the bosses and then some other reducing. There are certain things that government can invest in and reduce the price. So when you do that, then people will get relief in those areas, and then the money they have, they can use it for other things. That's what we're talking about. The government is not serious, and most especially the last government. In my opinion, the last government actually funded insecurity. When you refuse to fund education, you are funding insecurity. Because if you are educated, there are certain things you will never do. Whether poverty, whatever. Once you are educated, there's a level you can never descend to. So invest in education. Let people get the necessary education. At least, in my own opinion, first degree should be minimum. And that's why I do not agree that every Nigerian should vote. How can a professor vote. A professor has one vote. An idiot who does not know anything about life, who does not even know why he's in this world, has one vote. It should not be so.
Well, he has the right.
No, that's not right. He doesn't have any right because he has not developed himself to be a human being. Now. You are not a human being when you are not.
That is not his fault.
It's his fault. It's his fault. You should develop yourself. It's not only by getting. There should be a standard before people can vote. How can you allow everybody to go and vote? And that's why they sell vote. And that's why they will give somebody 5,000 naira for 4 years. You sell it for 5,000. Even if you are going to sell, maybe collect like 50 million per vote. Then we say yes, a bit irreasonable. You can, but how can you sell your vote for 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira? That's why it's not everybody that should vote. If I go to the National Assembly, it is something that I really want to take very seriously. It should not be everybody. How can everybody vote?
That can be solved. Right? That can be solved by voter education. I mean, it shouldn't be.
No, there are some persons that should not vote. All we have, just like in the United States, where you have the electoral college, which in most cases determines who becomes the president. Something like that. There should be responsible, reasonable people who can think now to evaluate who becomes the president. Not all Nigerians. Somebody that will vandalize the rail track, you want that person to go and vote. Somebody that can go and vandalize the rail track.
Well, when you put it that way, well, let's speak about what she said about insecurity and how not funding education leads to funding insecurity. I'd like your thoughts on this new development. Governor Sani of Kaduna State on Tuesday said that he and other Northwest governors have met and resolved to depart from the previous idea of giving money to bandits. This was just as he said his administration will focus on rural development as a way of improving the livelihood of rural dwellers aimed at tackling insecurity in the state. What are your thoughts on this, the issue of perhaps finally having a clear policy of no negotiation, no ransom giving?
Let me say and be very categorical about that. That's another hypocrisy from Governor Obasani of Kaduna State. Until his mother or his wife is kidnapped and he refused to negotiate, that is when we know he is serious. What kind of hypocrisy? They look at these leaders. They think they can use the senses of people. Is that let his wife be kidnapped and let him not negotiate? What we should do is to put adequate security arrangement where people will not be kidnapped. As a person, I have told those who are close to me that I will not pay ransom. And I will not follow any kidnapper. The highest you can do is to kill me. I will follow you. I follow Kaduna, Abuja. Anytime I'm following there, I call my family and let them know that you can be sure you are not paying ransom. I either come back home alive or I'm dead. But if I'm a governor, I will never do that for others. You should provide security for people. Not to say you will not negotiate, because you know you carry over 20 security men around that they cannot kidnap you and you are inside a bulletproof car. What nonsense. That these governors, they irritate me most of the time. What can you say you will negotiate when you do not provide security for people?
But do you think it might deter?
Deter what? Deter what?
If the bandits see that no money is coming anymore.
If they kidnap you and you have money, will you pay or you will not pay?
Well, that's interesting. But
you answer. I hate hypocrisy in my life. There's nothing I hate like hypocrisy.
You know, with every decision, there is a negative.
If you have 100 million in your account, you are kidnapped, and the kidnapper is asking for 50 million. 50 million, will you give or you will not give?
No, the question now is, if as the governor, he's the number one, the security enforcer, you know, in his own state, if he decides to enforce that and make it, that it doesn't happen.
I live in Kaduna. It's not if I'm, God forbid, I'm kidnapped. He cannot. I will negotiate and pay my. Who cares about it? Do I take them
as a point? There were talks about criminalizing. I can't remember if it was eventually passed. But
those who pay kidnappers.
Yes.
It will be a useless law that most people will violate, including me. So they should even arrest me before now, before even violating. What kind of useless law is that? Provide security for lives and properties. You are not doing it. You are criminalizing somebody who wants to live a decent life. Why do you allow the person to be kidnapped? It's a useless law that will violate now.
What of the flip side? The forgiveness of bandits that we normally see. Do you think something should change in that?
Why should you see the forgiveness is a good thing, but you send them to God so that God is often forgiving. You let God be the one to forgive. Once the kidnappers are caught, you send them to God so that God will forgive them. You kill them, then God will forgive them there. That's what you should do. If they have anybody who killed somebody should be killed. That's what you are saying. Send them to the court. Once the court says they should be killed by hanging off or whatever means, then the governor should sign. These governors are wicked. It's not, people don't understand certain things, that they always refuse to sign for people to be executed. It's not that they are good people. They are wicked people. Let me tell you, kill the father of any governor. If the court says the killer should be killed, they will sign. These are wicked people. If a killer is not killed, you are encouraging others to kill. Nobody wants to die. But if I know that if I kill you, I will be killed, I will be careful with you. But if I know that if I kill you, then one governor will just sit down and say they give you life imprisonment, you are eating people's food again, when there's not enough food in the country. Anybody who kills should be killed. It's simple as that. As a governor, I've always told people, once I become governor, one of the first things I will do is to look at all the cases and see those that the court has sentenced them to die by firing squad or by whatever means. The next thing I will do is to sign. Because, and I also look at the place so that at least the food they are consuming should be enough for those that are supposed to live, not those who have killed. I don't forgive bandits and kidnappers. Everybody, that means you can go into the crime, the next thing you come out and then your government will forgive you and then give you something to go and live among people. No, send them to God so that God will forgive them. We will pray for them so that God will forgive them.
All right, that's resolute coming from you. But speaking about the issue of governors' insecurity, let's talk about your state, Kogi State. There's something going on now between the governor, the SDP candidates. There's a back and forth. The governor says he was attacked. Ajaka counters Bello's claim, says Kogi government attacked him. We have senatorial candidate for the PDP in the 2023 elections, Natasha Akpoti Odwaran, saying that the attack was staged. You know, so what do you make of this on the what's the word now? The run up to the election. What's really happening in the states? How do you envision things turning out if there are already threats and counter threats of attacks and so on and so forth? The governor the other day talked about an antelope, you know, coming before the lion, referring to himself as the lion, and that the next time he wouldn't allow that. So let me get your thoughts about what all of this could lead to.
You know, it is my state, and anytime I want to speak, I want to make sure that I speak the truth. If I say anything that is contrary to the truth, maybe let it be a mistake, but not when I know to say what is not correct knowingly. That I don't want it to be part of my life. And I read on Facebook. I was not there. I don't want to comment about it, but I want to advise these leaders to fear their creator, that they have limited time to live, and the fear about the governorship election is that it seems it's going to be bloody. The ominous signs are already palpable, and we hope and pray the security agencies will do the right thing, because the claims and counterclaims from the governor and from the SDP candidate, and well, the SDP candidate was in APC. They know themselves. They know what they have done together, and that is why they are doing what they are doing now. So I don't want to make any comments about that for now, because I will investigate and come out and say what I know to be the true position, because those who were on the trip with the candidates, some spoke to me, but I have not gotten the side of the governor. And I also hope to meet with the governor and then give my own advice, because by virtue of him being the governor of Kogi State, he's the father of all, and he is not even recontesting. So I don't think there should be any reason why all of these things should start, but it's too early. We have not even, some houses have been burnt already in Kogi. And so these signs are not really very good. But the challenge is that sometimes the security agencies don't do what is necessary, and some other times they are handicapped. They are handicapped. So we know about this, and these are the challenges we face. But as time goes, I will investigate thoroughly, get my facts, and come on air to speak.
All right, thank you so much. We'll end this segment here. When we return, we'll talk more about the National Assembly and how that is shaping up. So we'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll delve into the second portion of the program. Stay with us, we'll be right back.